Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads, it's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
Zane reluctantly agreed, his teeth clenched. The mere heat radiating from the three-headed, six-armed warrior soul was enough to rattle him, let alone its extraordinary strength. Having mastered the power of wind, Zane felt confident he could buy the necessary 5 minutes.
You need to hurry. I'm not sure how long I can keep this up.
Zane unsheathed his dragon blood sword and engaged the warrior's soul. Despite its massive size, the warrior's soul moved with astonishing speed. Each movement shook the earth, sending reverberations in all directions. The warrior's soul's muscles writhed beneath its stone skin as it unleashed another devastating attack with sword and halberd.
Power of Wind, 3-star step.
Faced with a barrage of nearly invisible attacks, Zane integrated his newly acquired wind power into the 3-star step technique. A faint aura of swirling air enveloped him, merging his form with nature itself. His movements became blindingly fast, leaving no trace as he countered each of his opponent's strikes. They exchanged blows in a deadly dance, one attacking, the other evading. Zane felt like a specter within a hurricane, able to perceive his foe, but unable to land a decisive blow. The warrior's soul gradually accelerated, its movements becoming frenzied, like a maddened beast. Its attacks grew more concentrated and rapid. In mere minutes, they had exchanged dozens of strikes.
Incredible. Is this the true power of the universe? It's beyond belief.
Zane's face flushed with exhilaration. He felt as light as a swallow, successfully evading each of his opponent's attacks. No matter how concentrated or powerful the energy fluctuations were, they meant nothing if they couldn't connect.
Yes, I can definitely last 5 minutes.
Zane continued his evasive maneuvers, leaping and twirling through the air. All the while, he wielded the dragon blood sword, exchanging blows with his colossal adversary. Waves of displaced air and flashes of sword light dispersed in every direction. Though Zane's speed was impressive, the warrior's soul's raw power gave it a significant edge. The moment Zane's cold, frost-infused wind met the statue's scorching energy, it evaporated instantly.
Direct confrontation is futile. I should focus on maintaining distance and buying time for Rebecca.
Frowning in concentration, Zane summoned a massive surge of sword energy infused with determination. He aimed it at the warrior's soul before retreating to circle the battlefield.
Rebecca, have you finished? I can't fight it any longer.
On the far side of the chamber, Rebecca clutched an object in her hands. Suddenly, a burst of dark light erupted, engulfing the entire square in its radiance.
It's done!
She sprang into the air, aiming the pulsing dark light directly at the warrior's soul's midsection. A violent explosion shook the chamber as a terrible surge of energy consumed the warrior's soul. Howling winds whipped through the area, threatening to sweep them off their feet. The statue's stone exterior began to crumble away, revealing a scarlet, phantom-like figure within. The overwhelming pressure that had emanated from his form dissipated, leaving behind an empty husk devoid of spiritual intelligence. Zane stood before the phantom figure of the warrior's soul, his gaze fixed on the remnants of the spirit fusion sect's creation.
Is this truly the warrior's soul in its pure form? Can we be certain it won't suddenly attack?
Even in its passive state, the 10-meter-tall warrior soul exuded an aura of immense power.
Of course it's safe. Don't you trust me? Or have you suddenly lost interest in this prize?
Rebecca stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with excitement. With a fluid motion, she summoned her hand blade from thin air. The warrior's soul split cleanly in two, its form distorting before resolving into twin, three-headed, six-armed entities. Rebecca swiftly grasped one half, then turned to Zane with a challenging glare.
What's the matter? Lost your nerve? Perhaps I should keep both halves for myself.
I never said I didn't want it. In fact, I'd prefer to have it all.
Without hesitation, Zane sealed the remaining warrior's soul fragment within his body. The warrior's soul was a treasure typically accessible only to advanced-level martial artists. Merging it with one's body could trigger an explosive increase in power within a short time, an opportunity few could hope to encounter. Zane regarded Rebecca with a peculiar expression, causing her to shift uncomfortably.
Why are you looking at me like that? What are you thinking?
Nothing really. I'm just surprised you're willingly offering me half. I thought you might be joking. It seemed too good to be true.
Zane's skepticism was understandable. After all, they belonged to rival sects, the Five Spirit sect and the Devil Flame sect, known for their mutual animosity. Moreover, Zane had slain several Devil Flame sect disciples and had previously taken advantage of Rebecca. The old Rebecca would likely have eliminated him after using his skills. However, recent events had shifted Rebecca's perspective. She recognized two crucial facts. Zane had saved her life twice, and he had mastered the power of wind in a mere 2 months. Even advanced-level martial artists struggled to grasp the fundamentals of universal power so swiftly. Zane's displayed talent far exceeded Rebecca's initial estimations. She suspected he might be concealing even greater abilities. Pushing him too hard seemed unwise. He could prove a valuable asset in the future. Rebecca placed her hands on her hips, adopting a smug smile.
What would you do if I decided to renege on our agreement?
I'd simply take it from you. We both know you can't outrun me, and a direct confrontation would only attract unwanted attention. Who knows? I might just claim your half as well.
Zane's smirk conveyed his newfound confidence, a result of mastering wind power. His abilities had grown exponentially, transforming him into a truly formidable opponent. Rebecca's eyes narrowed, a mix of annoyance and grudging respect in her gaze.
You're forever gonna be an asshole. I'm in a generous mood today, so I'll let your insolence slide.
Despite her harsh words, a hint of playfulness danced in Rebecca's eyes as she responded to Zane's challenge.
This marks the end of our temporary alliance. Our next encounter will be on the battlefield. I'll show no mercy then.
With grace and speed, she ascended skyward, her form transforming into a streak of dark energy as she vanished into the distance. Zane carefully surveyed his surroundings one final time, ensuring nothing of value remained. Satisfied, he began his journey homeward. 2 months had elapsed since his departure from the Five Spirits sect. The deadline for entering Titan Academy as a reserve disciple had passed during his absence. He knew he must hasten his return, his mind already racing with plans and possibilities. The power he had gained and the warrior soul fragment within him promised new challenges and opportunities. Zane returned, following the path he used before. There were blood corpses along the way. Although he could have killed them if he wanted to, he couldn't be bothered by them. By the time he arrived at the first room by the entrance of the Black Crow Mountain, he discovered that all the blood crystals around the area had been removed. It must have been the Devil Flame sect's doing.
God, I'm so dumb. I should have grabbed those blood crystals when I first got here.
Zane left the room quickly and soared the skies of the Blood Demon's secret land. His surroundings were peaceful and serene, a huge contrast to the turmoil from the intense battle that took place here 2 months ago. There was not even a single soul around.
Has everyone left? This is not good. Wait, what about the space channel?
It occurred to Zane that the others were likely dead or had left through the space channel. However, this was a small world, so if the space channel was closed, he'd have to spend the rest of his life here. Having mastered the power of wind, Zane's speed was twice as fast as before. A streak of light descended from the sky and shone at the space channel of the Blood Demon Basin.
Is it really closed? How did Rebecca get out? Did she find another way?
Zane frowned and glanced over. The original space channel was long gone, and the surroundings were quiet and peaceful. He took a few steps forward, then stopped.
Hold on. What's this?
The space in front of him was distorted. He reached his hands out to touch it, yet his palms disappeared into the void.
The space node is still here. Looks like the channel just closed. Maybe I can force my way through.
Zane was thrilled. However, he knew how dangerous it was to forcibly pass through the space channel. The slightest mistake could cost him a limb. Even so, it was still better than being trapped in the Blood Demon's secret land.
Here goes nothing.
Zane took a deep breath and charged. 2 days later, the space some 300 kilometers to the east of the Blood Demon Basin was distorted. The wind howled and thunder struck. A figure that was covered in scars appeared out of thin air, his arms and chest covered in blood. It was Zane, who had returned from the Blood Demon's secret land through the space node. As soon as Zane had entered the space node, a storm occurred within the unstable passage. The storm was so terrifying that even the martial artists of the advanced level dared not touch it.
I made it! Finally! That space storm is definitely no joke.
He rushed in the direction of Star City and reached its skies in a short period. Star City was heavily guarded by soldiers and a massive formation that seemed impenetrable. A soldier from below recognized Zane, pleasantly surprised, and unlocked the formation to let Zane in.
Special Envoy Zane, you are alive. This is great news.
Of course I'm alive. Who told you that I wasn't?
The other Special Envoys who went to the Blood Demon Basin with you. They said you weren't there when the space channel closed. They thought you had disappeared from the channel, so everyone thought you were dead.
Zane frowned, his heart twisted in conflicting emotions as he asked,
What's been going on in Star City lately? Where are the Laren Kingdom soldiers?
The space channel had been closed a month ago, and those who followed you into the Blood Demon secret land had returned long before you did. The Devil Flame sect got what they wanted, so they left 2 weeks ago. They're not attacking the city anymore.
Zane listened closely, his expression darkening.
They probably reported that you were dead, so you'll likely lose your spot as a reserve disciple at Titan Academy.
With that thought in mind, Zane flew back to the Five Spirits sect without another word. 5 days later, a ray of sword radiance descended from the sky, gliding straight towards the Dragon Spiral Hall.
Who is that? They're incredibly fast.
Wait, it looks like Zane. It is Zane.
Are you sure? But he died in the Star City battle, didn't he?
The sword light scattered in front of the Dragon Spiral Hall, revealing Zane's tired face. He then pushed open the door and strode in. At this moment, Dean Harrison and 3 other elders were discussing something. When they heard the footsteps, they looked over, instantly shocked.
Zane, you're not dead? You're alive. I've been so worried about you.
Everyone's faces lit up with excitement, especially Dean Harrison's. They couldn't help but laugh. However, Zane was not in the mood to chat with them. His expression was grim as he asked,
Master, has someone taken my place as the reserve disciple of the Titan Academy?
As soon as these words left his mouth, the entire Dragon Spiral Hall was enveloped in an air of awkwardness. They exchanged glances, their expressions conflicted, unsure how to break it to Zane.
We got a new reserve disciple 2 weeks ago, Zane. We heard you died in Star City. I didn't believe it. I even had a big argument with the sect leader about it. However, the Titan Academy was aggressive and refused to listen to my case. They immediately asked Dylan to take your place. He's a cultivator from the White Wolf Academy in the 2nd stage of the intermediate level.
Upon hearing this, all the hairs on Zane's body stood on end. Waves of pressure were unknowingly released. Nervousness set into the skin of the other 4. According to the Titan Academy's conditions regarding reserve disciples, if Zane died or disappeared, it should have taken at least 3 months before he could be replaced. If Zane had come 3 months late, then he would have admitted his fault. However, in reality, he made it right on time. So how could his place already be taken up by another?
Dylan? Who's that?
He's Niren's younger brother. He is nothing special when it comes to talent. You were missing in action for so long, so Niren asked his younger brother to take your place.
Niren, that son of a bitch.
Hot waves continued to seep out from Zane's body. A surging killing intent circulated as he let out a low roar.
Dylan, just you wait.
With that, Zane walked out of the Dragon Spiral Hall in a fit of rage. Seeing this, Dean Harrison immediately dashed towards Zane and stood in front of him, afraid that something bad would happen.
Zane, don't do anything stupid. I get how you feel, but now's not the time to lose your cool. Why don't we talk to the sect leader about this?
Zane laughed coldly. With Naren allowing his younger brother from the White Wolf Academy to replace him in front of everyone, was this still a matter up for discussion? He tried his best to suppress the boiling anger in his chest as he spoke.
I know you mean well, Master, but I gotta do this on my own. Worry not, I know what to do. I'm going to challenge the Titan Bronze list.
As soon as he said these words, it felt like a clap of thunder had fallen on the heads of the others. The so-called Titan Bronze list was a ranking of experts below the 5th stage of the intermediate level in the Titan Academy. Those who could get on the Titan Bronze list were all the best of the best, the cream of the crop amongst prodigies and geniuses. Any one of them could easily defeat those from the 4 major cultivation academies. The Titan Academy had a rule stating that if one was unsatisfied with the candidacy of a reserve disciple, they were able to challenge those from the Titan Bronze list. As long as they were ranked in the top 50, the reserve disciples could be changed.
You're gonna what? Challenge the Titan Bronze list?
Dean Harrison's tiger-like body trembled, as if frightened by something terrifying. He was well aware of the many hidden talents of the Titan Academy, as well as those on the Bronze list.
Zane, are you sure of your decision?
Henry Wells suddenly smiled and asked him.
Absolutely.
Good, you've got guts. You're a real Azure Dragon Academy student. Here, take this map of Titan Academy. Only with the guidance of this map would you be able to enter the Academy, or else you'd lose yourself halfway.
Henry handed him a sheepskin scroll with a picture of the route to the Titan Academy.
Henry, how could you encourage this madness?
Why not? Let him stir things up and show those Titan Academy folks what our Azure Dragon Academy's made of.
Compared to the concerned Dean, Henry was more open to letting his disciples do what they pleased. Seeing this, Dean Harrison said nothing more and only sighed, waving his hand.
All right then, Zane, go for it. But remember, fight for our honor. Don't let those jerks push you around.
With the two's encouragement, Zane was driven with a fighting spirit. He gave them a nod before soaring into the sky. Seeing Zane gradually disappear out of sight, the elders of the Dragon's Spiral Hall could not help but let out an emotional sigh.
Man, we're getting old. These kids nowadays are way tougher than us.
There's definitely more than what meets the eye when it comes to Zane. Let's wait and see how those from the Titan Academy will react to this.
In the air, Zane turned into a silver arc of light and glided towards the northern part of the Five Spirits sect. Judging from the map given by Henry, the real Titan Academy was located far away from the 4 major cultivation academies. It was a good 1,000 kilometers away. In a huge desert in the northwest of Burial Mountain, there was drought that persisted all year round. The temperature was startling and the vital energy terrifying. There were very few people in the scorching hot sun. Only strong martial artists and demonic beasts could survive in these conditions. Moreover, the road between Titan Academy and the 4 major cultivation academies was set up by an incomprehensible energy ceiling formation by a powerful figure. This was also the reason why Zane took to his feet when he got to the Swordvigor Cliff. However, he had comprehended the power of wind, which had greatly enhanced his speed. Moreover, he had broken through to the 2nd stage of the intermediate level. Although his flying speed was a few times slower than before, he was still faster than most. On the 7th day, Zane finally arrived at a magnificent large palace. The palace was located on a small island, suspended in midair. It was decorated with golden bricks and black tiles. A faint mountain aura came from it, and the golden airflow around it wrapped around the hall like a great beast.
So this is Titan Academy, huh?
Zane's expression became much more solemn as he watched the Titan Academy from above. He began his slow descent. In front of the door of the main hall was a huge plaque with 3 words: The Titan Academy. Outside the door, 2 disciples of the 1st level of the intermediate level stood guard at the entrance, surprising Zane. A dignified intermediate level martial artist was tasked to be a guard disciple? If those from the outside world saw this, they would not believe their eyes. Zane took a step forward and was about to enter when he was stopped by the two disciples.
Hey, you! Are you from Azure Dragon Academy? What are you doing here? Don't you know you can't just waltz into Titan Academy without an invite?
Beat it, punk! Titan Academy isn't someplace you can just show up whenever you want.
One of the guards grabbed Zane's shoulder aggressively. Zane felt the flesh and blood all over his body, instantly warm. He frowned, snorted coldly, and immediately hit the disciple. The man took a few steps back, almost losing his balance and falling to the ground.
You're just Azure Dragon Academy trash. How dare you touch us? I'll teach you a lesson now you'll never forget.
As he finished speaking, the man's chest bulged, and his arm grew into a circle, sweeping up the rolling airwaves before directing it at Zane.
Shattering Rock Fist.
In an instant, a yellow light burst out, and an illusory figure wrapped around the fist, almost swallowing Zane. Seeing this, Zane decided courtesy had no place here. He swiftly released his bronze body and delivered a punch. It was just an ordinary punch, but it sent the opponent flying in an instant, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood.
You attacked a Titan Academy student? You're dead meat!
Another guard yelled as she waved the long spear in her hand, releasing a moon flame and directing it towards Zane with a boiling hot aura. Suddenly, the cold light of the dragon blood sword arrived in a flash. The sharp sword energy instantly swept away all the heat waves, and the cold wind and frost iced out the guard's long spear. Zane put his sword on the woman's neck and said coldly,
I am a reserve disciple of Titan Academy. Don't make me kill you.
A reserve disciple? Really?
The expression of the person threatened by his dragon blood. Sword fell as she looked at Zane.
The reserve disciples of Titan Academy had already entered the sect half a month ago.
If you think you're so tough, stick around. We're just guards. There are way stronger people here who'll deal with you.
Faced with Zane, who had easily defeated them, the two began to fear him. One of them took out a jade pendant and muttered something before sending the pendant flying into the hall.